What is the difference between studying and learning? Some students might say, studying is short-term and learning is long-term. Others might say, studying is what I do the night before the test to make an A. Learning is what I do if I know I'm going to have to use that material later on. Which would take you more work, making an A on an exam or teaching the material to the class? Most would say teaching the material to the class. It's important to remember that you don't have to be a teacher in order to be in teach the material mode. How do we move from make an A mode to teach the material mode? And why is it important? Think about it this way. If you are in make an A mode, when will you discover that you don't understand the material? On the exam, and then it's too late. When we have to teach, we should try to master it so that we can answer questions beyond the material we present. Teaching also requires a high level of mastery, so if you aim to know the material so well that you can teach it, you can't go wrong. As we move from make an A mode to teach the material mode, we will use Bloom's taxonomy to move to that higher level of learning. Bloom's taxonomy is a pyramid that depicts the different levels of thinking we use when we learn. Notice how each level will build on the foundation that precedes it. It's required that we learn the lower level skills before we can effectively use those on the upper level. First, remember. Remembering is when you can memorize definitions or formulas, but you can't put that information in your own words. Understand. Understanding is when you can paraphrase the material or explain it using analogies or real-world examples. Apply. Applying is when you can use the information to solve problems you've never seen before. Analyze. Analyzing is when you can break material down into its parts, determining how the parts relate to one another. Evaluate. Evaluating is when you can make judgments based on criteria and standards through checking and critiquing. And create. Creating is when you can come up with your own ideas about solving different kinds of problems. Let's explain Bloom's taxonomy using Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Remembering. Remembering is if you can list the items used by Goldilocks when she was in the bear's house. You're able to demonstrate understanding if you can explain why Goldilocks likes Baby Bear's chair the best. You demonstrate applying if you can demonstrate what Goldilocks would use if she came to your house. You can analyze if you can compare this story to reality. What events could not really happen? You demonstrate evaluating if you can judge whether Goldilocks was good or bad, and you can defend your opinion. And you demonstrate creating if you can write a story about Goldilocks and the Three Fish. How could it differ from Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Now let's apply Bloom's taxonomy to your academic habits. At what level of Bloom's taxonomy did you have to operate to make A's or B's in high school? Most say the lower levels: apply, understand, and remember. Now think about this question. At what level do you think you will need to operate in order to make A's in your college courses? In college, you will be required to operate at a higher level of learning than you did in high school. So what does all of this mean? As you make your move up Bloom's taxonomy, and from make an A mode to teach the material mode, your goals will change. Instead of GPA goals, you now have learning goals. To learn how to pursue these new goals and climb the levels of Bloom's taxonomy, check out the videos on metacognitive strategies and the study cycle.